Today we're sitting down on the porch with Judi, a QHS member whose life is as heartwarming as a home-cooked meal. What paths did she follow to get to where she is today? Let's take a stroll down memory lane and see what's been cooking behind the scenes.
My name is Judi. I was born in Southwest Kansas, and when I was in about the second grade, my dad was transferred to the Texas Panhandle with his job. I was so excited. We're moving to Texas, but my excitement was very short-lived when I realized I wasn't going to get to ride a horse to school. They had cars just like we did in Kansas. I had a stepsister that was 10 years older than I was, and so she got married and moved back to Kansas, and I was still relatively young at the time, so it was kind of like growing up as an only child in a way. I would go and visit her in the summertime, and while I was there, I was invited to a church party one evening. So I went, and it was there that I met my future husband. He was really shy. We didn't say much to each other that night, so when I went home with my girlfriend, I said, "Do you have any information about him?" and kind of questioned her, and she said, "Oh, he is so shy, he won't talk to girls. So you better just forget about him." And I said, "Well, he's the one I'm going to marry, so he's going to have to learn how to talk to me." So I was determined that he was going to be the one. Well, he and his brother delivered milk to my sister's house. And so we had a lot of chaperone for a long time. And I always told everybody that I talked to, if my kids look like the milkman, it's okay. I married him. I was 17, he was 19 when we married. He was a hardworking farm boy, and I was kind of a spoiled town girl. Everybody said it'll never last. Well, we just celebrated our 60th wedding anniversary. We've had 3 children, and I'm now 77 years old, and I believe that anything worth having is worth working for. It takes love, commitment, patience, understanding, forgiveness, and faith in God. This philosophy applies to everything in life, and especially and including the QHS project. We were blessed to be introduced to the QHS project by our daughter Stacy, who's on the admin team. I love helping people and staying active. For over 20 years, I worked in banking and mortgage loans. It was an awesome feeling to be able to help people get into their home, sometimes their first one, and see the excitement on their faces. After retiring from banking, I took up quilting and cooking hobbies. I love making quilts to hand down to our children, grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren. Then I had an opportunity to work for a children's home in Oklahoma. I was the grandmother working in the office. We are now back in Texas, and I'm again working 4 mornings a week in another children's home as an accounting assistant. I'm still quilting, not cooking as much, but I also started a natural skincare business. It really was not my intention to start a business, but I was looking for alternatives, something healthy to put on my skin, and after sharing it with family and friends, I started getting orders. So I really need a lot more energy. My girls tell me that my stress is self-inflicted. You think? I'm really trying to learn how to slow down a little bit, but it's hard. There's so much I want to do and people to help. I'm so much looking forward to getting the V9 and the HHS and then going to the ARC. The things I am excited to see change or eliminate in this journey are, number 1, my feet. They've hurt me most of my life. I developed bone spurs in the joints of my toes when I was in my late 20s. Bone spurs created corns in between each of my toes, and they would rub together. And it was so painful, it got to the point that I couldn't even wear shoes anymore. So I finally gave in and had surgery, and they removed most of the joints in my toes. That really has not helped all the issues with my feet. They're still very painful. I can't even think about walking barefoot, and it's really hard to find comfortable shoes. The other thing is my back. When I was in grade school, I participated in gymnastics, and unbeknownst to me, I had an injury while I was doing that to my back. As I grew older, everybody kept telling me, sit up straight, pull your shoulders back, quit your slumping. I tried so hard to do that, but it hurt, and it was impossible to do as much as I wanted to do. Later on, I worked for a chiropractor, and in doing x-rays and everything, they discovered that I had a compression fracture in my back. I can't lay flat on my back without having a pillow under my head. And I can't stand up against a wall and hold my back to the wall and have my head touch the wall without leaning it way back. I'm just so looking forward to having a beautiful straight back and not having it hurt so much of the time. Another thing I would like help with is my knees. I never had any trouble with my knees. I've been very blessed, really, with my health. But one evening as we were fixing to go to church, I remembered something I'd forgotten. So I jumped out of the car to run in to get it, and my foot caught on my strap of my purse, and I body slammed myself down onto this cement drive. Surprisingly, and I attribute this to the V6, I did not have any bruises. But now after about a year, I'm getting arthritis, and it's very painful for most of the time. The other next thing is the last major issue I have is I have sleep apnea. And I'm so tired of that silly mask that I have to wear. And it's such a hassle when you travel, and it wakes you up every little bit every time you have to turn over so it's not leaking. And I disturb my husband when I do that. But even with all of that, and I attribute this to the V6, I have slept better. I've had deeper sleep. So all in all, those are most of my main issues, other than arthritis, struggling to lose weight, and the desire for more energy. I know my problems aren't nearly as bad as so many of those that I've heard on these stories, nor do I have to take any medications, and I'm so thankful to God for that. I started with the QHS devices in March of 2022, and I've really not been sick anytime since then. So it has really helped my immune system, and I'm grateful for that. I just want to thank you, Dr. A, Cynthia, and the entire Advent team. God bless you, and thank you for listening.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.